On the topic of voices, I agree with the Manhattan thing where at first it was really jarring, but by the end it just felt like, yeah, this really fits well. It's very natural. Problem I had with Manhattan is, I don't know, he seemed a little emotive, because in the comic he always seemed kind of like a robot, except for in like a couple of scenes.
Right.
In this, it was just like, whoa, you've got way too much like pitch fluctuation. And I don't know. That was just sort of like, not robot enough for me. But what really got to me was throughout the entire film.
Dong.
Yes. No. Thanks for derailing that. Throughout the entire movie, I just felt like Rorschach really needed a lozenge. Like, this movie suffered from a bit of Batman-itis.
I think, like...
Except for when he was quiet.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit over the top on that, but like, when I read the comic, that's kind of how I pictured his voice to be. It was like a little bit mangly, but...
Mangly, but not...
Not Christian Bale.
They will whisper to me to save us, and I'll say, no.
I honestly feel like the guy that played Rorschach, though, was the best cast. When I saw interviews with him, I was like, that dude's playing Kovacs, like, that guy doesn't look anything like him. Like, he might do a good job, but it doesn't look anything like him. And then, whenever, like, they gave him red hair, and they gave him the freckles, and, like, the dude pulled it off. Like, I think it looked just like him. And honestly, the voice didn't bother me that much. Like, it seems like all superheroes have to have, bronchitis nowadays, but, I mean, whatever. If that's what they want to do to sound creepy, that's cool.
I completely agree with you on the Rorschach thing. Like, when he was, mask off, talking to the psychiatrist, I was like, damn.
Like, I opened up the book when we got back to the hotel here and looked at that scene, and his face, like, matches it almost perfectly. I really liked it, how well he looked, just like Rorschach.
First, he likes Dr. Manhattan's voice. Now Rorschach's looks. At least he didn't spend the whole movie pointing at Dr. Manhattan's penis.
I could have used more balls. I bet this guy didn't even like Silk Spectre's boobs.
Which were all over the place, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, I still hate that girl. I said it in the last video. I think she's a terrible actress. I hope she's never in a movie again, and I hope that she works at Wendy's for the rest of her life.
Her acting was very terrible.
She ruined the Ben Stiller movie, and she tried to ruin the Watchmen.
But it overcame.
I hope that you stop acting. I'm not going to say anything really rude on camera, because then the whole world thinks I'm a jerk.
Okay, they're on Mars, they're making out. Silk Spectre and Night Owl are making out in costume on Mars as it's blown up in the dream. And his bulge is sticking out like 2 feet.
Dude, that was ridiculous.
From his body.
That was the first thing I noticed when they kind of zoomed in on that screen. It was just
First thing you noticed was balls.
Hey,
it was out there though. Like, that's
He
all
had no
I
hang
noticed.
to it. It wasn't like...
It was just, I'm sticking 2 feet out. I don't really have an erection.
It wasn't an erection, it was like ball bulge.
Well,
The
at
balls
that
were shriveled
at that point,
and
he couldn't
protruding
get an
his
erection,
penis outward.
Yeah, that was
Right.
the point of that scene.
Yeah.
Is that he's like, hey,
He can't
no
get off
explosions
unless
for
he...
me.
I really liked that scene though. I thought it was really well done. Like they were there just like there, and then it blew away. I thought that was really cool.
Pictured Night Owl being more of a, like, not as, the way like he talked sounded more like outgoing than I expected him to be. I expected him to be a little bit more like shy and like kind of timid about talking and stuff. But like, I guess that grew on me as well because I got over it real quick. But it's just the way, like, I don't know if it was the motion comic voiceover that did that for me. It might have been, but that's kind of how I pictured it.
Well, I think with the Night Owls, it goes back to that, like, they try to be so, like, parallel to the comic that it got kind of comical, and I feel like they tried to make him so, like, dumb and nerdy looking that it was really comical because he had, like, a stupid tie and stupid glasses and
He had,
stuff.
like,
And
a knitted tie on at one point.
Yeah,
That was
it's
very
just-
awful.
it was really, like, I don't know, they could have just not made him, like, so, like, I guess was the word I'm looking for, classically nerdy, and just made him like a smart guy or something, instead of just like, all right, we're gonna go all out here. We're gonna give him these square frames and you know, like, I don't know. It was kind of annoying. It made me laugh. And his friend was real ugly and funny looking. I laughed every time he came on screen.
He's got the square frames, but his goggles were pretty amazing. Like I thought they looked really neat, like on the screen and stuff. Like the shape that they were in, like all that looked really cool. And I'd love to have a pair of those for my scooter. That's for sure.
I'm sure you can buy them at your local Kmart
There you go.
next Thursday.
Your local Watchmen mart.
Next to the blue Manhattan dong bags and the Night Owl coffee.
Overall, I mean, they left out some decent things, some things, but I don't think it was bad. I thought it was a good movie. I wasn't disappointed. I wasn't flabbergasted about how awesome it was, but I wasn't disappointed either. I thought it was great. It wasn't like I wouldn't give it a perfect score, but I would definitely give it a high score.
They did it. That's all that matters.
Yeah, pretty shocking in itself. They filmed the unfilmable. And I'm going to agree with Cody that it wasn't a perfect film, but unlike Cody, it did exceed my expectations. But if you watched last week's thing, you know that mine was pretty low.
Yeah. Right.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I'll definitely buy the extended DVD.
Well, specifically with Rorschach, my own call with Rorschach, was in the scene, or in the part of the book rather, where he does his first murder, or one of his first murder. In the movie, it's a cleaver to the head. In the book, it's
X butcher knife.
no, it's actually a handsaw, and the guy is handcuffed to the radiator or something. And he catches the house on fire. And I thought they were gonna do it as the novel, which, in my opinion, is much more heartless, and very, very more cold, and gives Rorschach a much deeper feel. And then at the end of the movie, like at the end of the novel, Rorschach dies. Spoiler. But in the movie, he's begging for it. And in the novel, I kind of read it as he was trying to defy Dr. Manhattan.
Right.
Like he was telling him to kill him because, fucking I'm Rorschach. I don't compromise.
Right. In the movie, like he's like, well, I know what you're gonna do. Why are you waiting? Just get it over with, type thing. And he yells at him a few times to do it, and then it's done. And the explosion is amazing. But it does seem like it's a little bit different there.
Yeah.
The way it was
I mean, well, I don't know. I'm reading it right now, and I thought it was perfect.
Yeah, it's word for word the same, but in delivery,
Yeah.
I felt that Rorschach was such a badass that he's trying to defy Dr. Manhattan. And in the movie, it's like he's begging for Dr. Manhattan to kill him, like he's ready for his life to be over.
I mean, he's crying in the picture, so I think he knows what's coming.
Well, I mean, he knows
Well,
what's
he
coming,
knows.
but
He knows either way.
it seemed like in the movie, it seems like, yes, I've been waiting for death. Where in the comic book, I'm with these guys. I read it as like, look, I'm true to my morals. You gotta do what you gotta do. So if you're gonna fucking kill me, do it now. Otherwise, let's be done.
I guess I understand that. Yeah. I agree.
Alright.
Yeah.
I am going to give it thumb and a 3/4 thumb.
I'm in the same boat, I originally gave it 1.5, and then I would say it was better than that. It's like pretty close to 2 thumbs for me. It was a fantastic film. I really, really enjoyed it. Not perfect, but really good. And I do recommend it for people who enjoy action-y type comic book films.
Not to completely follow the book, but I'm gonna agree with them just because I think it was a little bit better than I was expecting. Not way better than I was expecting, but it was still it followed it more than I really thought it was going to, even though I thought it was going to do it well to begin with. So thumb and 3/4 works, I think.
I'm going to give it thumb and 3/4 down. But it's opposite day, so that's actually up. If you're a fanboy of the novel, it stays true to it, and if you're not, you'll probably enjoy the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely a good movie for somebody that hadn't read it. So.
The only thing that I have to say against that is if you hadn't read it, near the end where they try to explain, that's like, hey, I bombed everything, blah, 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 it's good for mankind. I think that might go by a little quickly, and you'll just be like, well, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Right.
It was just sort of sprung without any,
But it's less jarring than Vagina in the